to Totally Maddie. I am so excited that you're here today because it's October and it's getting kind of colder and it's soup time. So I am going to show you a recipe that we make in Puerto Rico, and a lot of Latin American cultures they make these, but I'm going to show you the Puerto Rican version of Sancocho. Sancocho is like a Puerto Rican stew, or Puerto Rican soup, but it's mostly done with roots. So, and meat. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to show you the version that my grandmother, my aunt, and my grandma just combined all those recipes, and I just made my little thing over here with the little kind of cool surprises. So let's see if my mom's liked it. So here we go. Sancocho. What we need for sancocho. I know like it looks like a lot, but it really is not, okay? So I'm going to walk you through it. Get started. Let me show you a couple of the roots that we're talking about. This is called a yautía. This yautía right here, it is right here. It is white. Um, you can just use it. It's kind of like consistency of kind of like a potato type of thing, but this is a yautía. You can use yuca if you want to. Just make sure that when you do the yuca, when you cut it, it takes that little hard string in the middle. Also, you can put both things, so you can zero. This is called batata, I believe. And it kind of gives it like a little sweeten, like a little sweet to it. It has like a little, no, it's not very sweet, it just has a little sweet to it. Now this was really big. Oh, by the way, that's that one. This one was kind of like really big. This is called ñame. Ñame is delicious and it gives a great texture to our sancocho. And I have in here also, and I'm going to show it to you. I have here, I cut up plantain, a green plantain, and I have it right here, and I cut it in rounds. Just because I like the difference of the texture of the soup. And I also cut a green banana, and I'm going to show it to you. This is just a regular banana, but it's green, like totally green. You want it the greener, the better. And it is right here. Couple of other things that I added. I like to put garbanzo on my sancocho. I also like different types of squash and textures. This is a chayote, and I just diced it. Again, we might not use all of these, but I wanted to have it cut out because some of these things you can use for other dishes too. Now, in Puerto Rico, they use something that is called calabaza, which is kind of like a pumpkin, but it's not the same pumpkin that you carve jack-o'-lanterns with. It's a different kind of pumpkin. I couldn't find calabaza here, but in a lot of the recipes that I noticed, you could use butternut squash. So again, we are not using all this butternut squash, but I wanted to cut it all out to show it to you. Butternut squash, it has the same texture, the same, kind of like the same color that we're looking for. Another thing that I like to use is, I like to use corn in my sancocho. So I cut in a little round, just again because I want different textures. So I cut the little round corn. This corn was frozen. I just gonna let it thaw out a little and then I cut it up. Of course, you cannot be without sofrito. Hello, my mama sofrito. And we are gonna use different spices. So let me show you what we're doing with the different spices. We are going to use sazon, but I'm using the one that I made, okay? My homemade sazon, if you want to know how to do that, I have a video on that. I'm using adobo. Gotta have your adobo. I'm using oregano. I'm using a bay leaf. I'm using a little bit of turmeric because turmeric is so awesome. It has so many healing agents. I have sea salt and I have tomato sauce. Now, I made this earlier. Oh, by the way, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do later on. If you haven't had bollitos de plátano, we are going to be doing that with the soup is cooking. So I'll show you how to do that. We're going to use that with the plantain. I want to take you to my pot, and I want to show you what I did earlier because this has beef stew in it. It has that kind of res. So I want to show you. So earlier today, I took my my beef stew and I cube it up in smaller pieces because I want to make sure that we have enough, and I put it in here and I saute it with a little bit of olive oil. Then I took one Spanish olive and I diced it up, and I took 3 cloves of garlic, fresh garlic, and I crushed it through the garlic press, and I had that cooking here with a little bit of water for like 2 hours at a very slow simmer. You can also, earlier today, I cooked this meat just because I wanted to be really tender. What I did is I cut up the beef stew and I cut it in smaller pieces just because I like it to be a little meatier mine. So I want every piece to have meat. I also put, and I sauteed it in olive oil. I also put a little Spanish onion and I diced it up and I put it in there. I sauteed a little bit with a little bit of, I think it was 3 or 4 cloves of garlic that I put through the garlic press. And I sauteed everything, and after it was pretty much like the meat was a little bit like more brown than red, then I put adobo, and I put a little bit of course my mom's sofrito, and I put it in there. I put the water, and I let it simmer like really slow. Once it boiled, I put it to simmer for like 2 hours. That's just because you can also do that on the crock pot the night before. I just did it that way. So now we're gonna add all these other ingredients that I'm gonna give the sancocho taste. Let's get started. All right, so let's get started on add now all our like roots and our different things that we're putting in here. So we're gonna go ahead and add all those things that we talked about before. We're gonna add them in here. They are amazing. These are like the stars of the show. Oops, sorry. This is our like Puerto Rican roots in here. So I don't want to put all that water in there. Let me use this. Scoop it out. I kept it in water because I didn't want it to get, they're like potatoes, they like with the air, they will just get brown. So keep it in water as you cut and everything. It's gonna take you a little time to cut all that stuff. So you wanna keep everything fresh. So that's why I do that. Now this is the squash, the butternut squash that I told you about. We are not putting all of these. I have plans for it. We can make so many more recipes with these. So I'm just gonna put a little bit of that for color. Again, if you are lucky to find calabaza, cooking squash, that's even better, but this will do. We'll see how that goes. I love garbanzos on mine, so I'm gonna put all of the garbanzos in. And this is the chayote. Chayote is amazing. So we're gonna put some chayote in here. And again, whatever you don't use of the chayote, if you think you have too much, you can make it with eggs tomorrow morning. Or make some delicious dishes. So just make sure you keep it in water. So let's see how we're doing, because the good thing about this is that it gets full really, really, really fast. So you have to be careful while you add into these. Let's go ahead and get the other roots that I have. So now I'm going to add my plantains. I want to add my green plantains and my green banana that I chopped earlier. I'm going to fish them through here because I want those items to get incorporated in here. We're going to put the stuff that are not cooked first. That's what we're doing. The corn has already been cooked, it's frozen. So we're going to put that at the end when we put the bolitas de plátano, the little plantain deliciousness that we put in there. So I want to make sure that I put, so again, this is the green plantain and this is the green banana. I think I got all of them. Now I am going to put the ñame. And again, I might not use all of it because it gets crowded fast. Another one here that tried to escape. And these, by the way, you can freeze all of these cooked or uncooked, like this kind of verduras. You can freeze them after you peel them. You can totally do that. And the sancocho also, after you cook it, it can freeze really good. Look at all that. This is gonna be like very hearty sancocho. So I think for me, this is like good enough. I don't wanna add anything else. What I'm gonna add is a little more water. So in that way, because you wanna cover it, okay? So let's go ahead and add more water to that. Okay, so let's go ahead and put it on high for a little bit. I'm gonna add more water to these, and I'm gonna wait until it boils. Then after it starts boiling, it starts cooking, I am gonna taste it for salt to see if it needs a little more salt. And while I'm doing this, I am going to shred my plantain so I can make the bolitas de plátano so we can add in there. We cannot add those yet. If you add the bolitas de plátano right now, they would just like crumble. You have to wait until it's like a rapid boil and towards the end. So let's go ahead, cover this up, wait until it boils, and we start cooking it. Alright, so while the sancocho and those verduras are cooking, what we're going to do now is that we're going to make what my grandma used to make for me that I used to love. It's called bollitos or bolitas de plátano. Remember, the plátanos are the green plantains. I used to love this as a little girl, so I want to show you how she used to make it, okay? So this was my job when I was little. So the way you peel these, and I highly recommend when you do a plantain, a plátano, is that you cut the ends, wash it first, cut the ends. I always cut it in half, and then I make a slit. Make sure that you don't go towards the plantain itself, just make a slit. And with like a knife, just like a serrated knife, not the sharp ones, but like the ones I use for eating, you peel it under the water. That prevents your hands from getting that mancha de plátano, that sticky, sometimes it turns your hands like a little dark color. And then after that, I just kept it in water until I was ready. And now with this, we're going to like grate with the bigger side. We're going to grate the plátano. And we're going to do that. I only put one because I'm not making that many. If you have a bigger family, perhaps you want to do 2 plantains. And then we're gonna add adobo and maybe a little salt. Just because I made my homemade adobo, and in my homemade adobo, I don't put as much salt as the recipe requires. If you want to learn how to make homemade adobo, watch one of my videos. But this is the part that very carefully, like the older kids can help you with. This was my job. So we go ahead and grate these, and I'm going to show you how to make it because it's so easy. Now again, we cannot put these bolitas de plátano now because this is still going to stretch out. There's not really a binding agent onto these. So if we were to put it right now, it will crumble. You have to wait towards the end when the sancocho is boiling. When it has that hard boil, then you add these to these, okay? So here we go. I'm just going to transfer this over here. Smells so good. Smells like my childhood. Okay, so now I'm gonna put a little bit of adobo. Let me just wash my hands a little bit. I'm gonna put some adobo into these. Again, be careful. You don't wanna over salt it. And then we are going to put a little bit of salt, and now we're gonna mix it. Just make sure that all those flavors are incorporated, because you do want to season it. The part that didn't shred fine there. Okay. And again, this will make like 4 of them, which is okay for me. A lot of people in Puerto Rico eat sancocho with white rice, and that's perfect. If you have the bolitas de plátano, perhaps you don't have to make the white rice, but it's just a soup that you can eat just like that. So this is what we do right now. We made the little plantain balls, okay? And then when the water starts boiling, you drop them in the water. So they're like dumplings. And the way that you know that they're done is when they float back up. When they float back up, that means that these are already cooked. And then that means that the soup is almost done. So we're gonna wait until the verduras are almost cooked. We'll put it on a rapid boil, and we add our bolitas. And we're making them as we're dropping them, okay? Been cooking, the water did reduce a little bit, so I put some more, and then I have to wait until the water becomes to this hard boil. So let me tell you how I'm doing these. So as you let the plátano sit, the shredded plátano sit with the salt and the adobo, it kind of releases some starch to it, so it helps with the binding of the bolitas de plátano or bollitos de plátano. So we want to wait until that water boil again. So now we gently place them in there. You want to submerge them a little bit. And I have 4 in there, so I use 1 plantain. Let's see how many it happens. I wanted to make sure that it wouldn't crumble. I mean, and if it crumbles, you know, more plantain, but submerge it very gently. And you will know when they cook, because they're start floating. By the way, all the verduras in there, all the things in there are pretty much almost done cooking. So that's how we do it. We put it in there. So that was 6, I believe. My gosh, it's my favorite part of the sancocho. I used to fight for these when I was little. I wanted to eat all of them. Just put it in there. And I think that 1 plantain, the size that we did it, gave me 8. This one is a little tease. So now we're going to wait until that boils again. We wait until the plantain floats again. I did put a little more salt because all those verduras took a lot of the salt, so I put a little more salt, and now we're just going to cover it again and wait until that's finished. I think we got it. So what I did is after I did those bolitas de plátano, those buñuelos, with halfway through, I took the corn because the corn was already cooked. I bought it frozen. So then I cut in little pieces, and then I turn it off, and I just be waiting for a few minutes until they just cool off a little bit, and everything looks ready. So look at how beautiful it looks. It looks amazing. So let me just go ahead and serve myself a plate, and we'll taste it together. Oh, this looks so pretty. I'm so excited, you guys. You have no idea. Look at the meat and the corn. Let's get one of those bolitas de plátano. There's a good one there. Oh my gosh, this is like so good. Oh, it's so delicious. Let's get some of that meat and let's go out and taste our sancocho. I'm so excited. Smells amazing. So let's try it. So let's try it. Let's taste it. Let's see how the buñuelos taste. This is so good. This is really good. It's just like the way that my abuela makes it. As it sits longer, it starts getting thicker. It's more like a stew, and it will be perfect for a lunch. It will be perfect for dinner. If you want to make it with some white rice on the side, it would be amazing. So I made it. Mami, hice sancocho como el que te gusta a ti, como el que hace abuela, como el que haces tú. Me encantó, me quedó riquísimo. y espero que a ustedes les guste. If you guys want to join me and follow me, go to Totally Maddie, M-A-D-Y. Give me a like, give me a heart, or just follow me, subscribe. It'll be awesome. I'm making more stuff. Buen provecho. Wepa. This is good. This is really good. You want some? Sorry. And share. Have a good one. Bye bye.